Time for our weekly Buckeye Breakdown with the great Bobby Carpenter, of course, played for the Buckeyes, and you listen to him now. 97.1 The Fan, Morning Juice, rocking, right?
Yeah, we're rolling there, 6 to 8 on YouTube, 10 TV Plus shortly after that on 1460 as well in the early afternoon. So a lot of opportunities to get a lot of Buckeye talk, Ohio State talk.
Well, we love talking Buckeye football with this guy. I mean, he was not only a ferocious player, he knows the game. Ohio State is 4-0, and I think Ryan Day learned a lot about his football team at Washington. And the thing he said the other day, because I asked him, I said, what do you know about your team? He talked about maturity. That's important.
It really is, because you got to think about this team, Dom. There's a lot of guys who have been at Ohio State for a while, who have been in college football for a while, but maybe they haven't had the experience of playing a lot. Remember, Ohio State had 14 players drafted last year. A ton of guys went on to the NFL. So a lot of the guys we're seeing, we may know a little bit about them. They were role players, maybe played 25, 30% of the snaps, but now they had to be elevated into that starting role, into that leadership position. And whenever you're going across the country, traveling out 3 time zones all the way to the Pacific Northwest in what was really supposed to be a fairly hostile environment, very loud stadium out there in Husky Stadium in Washington, and you come away with a victory 24-6, very dominating fashion. Maybe not the highlight plays, the deep balls down the field, but you never really felt like Washington had a chance. And so to take the crowd out early, to play great defense, to be able to run the football and be efficient in the passing game, I think that's a mature football team.
And the other thing I loved, Ryan Day said he's not worried about style points. Maybe in the days of old, the BCS and all that, you worried about style points. Now with the 12-team playoff, Ohio State is going to get in. And he said the most important thing is win the game. And it's like John Cooper said, win the surest way. That game was never in doubt. And I loved what we saw out of the offense going with the silent count. First time they've ever had to do that this season with a rookie quarterback. To me, I give them an A for what they were able to do in that hostile situation.
Well, what they've done a great job of, Dom, is playing complementary football. And Ryan talked about this being more of an NFL-style game now, where you need to make sure that you're blending and marrying the offense and defense and the special teams. And the worry was, could the crowd get too loud? Would it impact the offense? Well, people love to cheer for scoring. And when the defense goes out there and they're pitching shutouts and they're not giving you much to cheer about, folks start sitting on their hands. Eventually that Ohio State offensive line, which has been very good, getting better and better each week, they start to take over. And that's where you start to see that maturity. There is no style points anymore. You win 10, 11 games in your Ohio State, you're getting in the college football playoff. The question is, once you get there, how good are you by that point? Have you improved? And also, how healthy are you?
Let's talk about Julian Sand. And I think Coach learned volumes about this kid. And he really is. Bobby, you know, you look at him, and I've asked Ryan Day a couple times about this kid. And he said, you know, he is a student of the game. He knows what's going on. He tells me things, and I can believe him now because what he's saying is true, but he is just unflappable. I mean, he's 19 years old.
He is. People often forget that he is a redshirt freshman, Dom. He hasn't played a ton of football. And so for him to go out there, play as well as he did, you know, he didn't have the gaudy numbers. There was no 400 yards passing. There was no 5-touchdown performance. But what he did is he converted when it mattered, getting the touchdown before the end of the half. Coming out, winning the middle 8. Ryan Day speaks about it all the time. Getting the touchdown to finish out the first half. You get the ball back. What do? 15 plays, about 7 minutes and 40 seconds. Pound the football down the field, cap it off with another touchdown. He's been very efficient. He's been unflappable. He's a West Coast kid from Southern California. He has a little bit of that Captain Cool to him. He's got the wavy hair. And I joked with him last week. I go, hopefully you got your toes in the Pacific, got a little rejuvenated with that, maybe like a cocoon situation, get some of that Pacific water back on you, and get ready here for the stretch run. But he's a guy that when you watch him play, you feel like he's been playing football for a lot longer than he has.
Yeah, I mean, there is an air about him, and I love it. And you love that in a quarterback, when you know the quiet confidence. And I guess he's really stepping up and becoming a little more of a vocal leader. And you know, he's got his teammates' ears. I mean, they're 100% behind him. Let's flip to the other side of the ball. We've talked about Matt Patricia. You've been high on this guy ever since Coach decided to bring him in. And I watch the game, and it seems like every week he's doing something a little different. If I'm an offensive coordinator getting ready to play Ohio State's defense, I don't know what they're going to do, because every week he's sneaking guys up here. He's doing this. I mean, someone said, he's playing chess and everyone else is playing checkers. I think you might have said it.
He really is. He's a very intelligent guy. He took over a defense, Dom, that lost 8 starters to the NFL. You look at all the guys that had departed, and what they've been able to do is build a defense around the talent of the guys that they have. You have an Arvell Reese. He's long. He's athletic. They get him on the edge. They bring some pressure with him. They've got Sonny Styles out there. You still have Caleb Downs. You've got some younger defensive guys. How about Caden Curry and how well he's played? People act like he's came out of nowhere. I've been watching him make plays like that in spring ball and training camp for the last handful of years. And now you're watching those guys who have worked so hard behind the scenes get that opportunity, Dom, to go out there and play. And Matt Patricia knows how to put them in the perfect situation, in the perfect circumstance to utilize that ability. And so this week against Minnesota, going to be a little bit different of a test. Minnesota runs a lot of 2 tight end sets, a lot of 2 back. It's going to look a little bit like traditional Big Ten football, maybe a quarterback under center. And so because of that, now you'll see maybe a Peyton Pierce sighting, get 3 linebackers on the field to help match those personnel groups. But that's what he's so good at. He doesn't have a system. He builds his system to fit the players and to attack the offense. And I think we've now seen that 4 weeks in a row, no double digits. We're on a pretty nice streak, and maybe this Ohio State team can break some records.
I mean, he has brought the NFL game to college football, and I think, he's just light years ahead. I mean, he's doing things that people are not used to seeing. I'm happy for all the coaches. I mean, what he and Timmy Walton are doing and co-coordinating this whole deal, it's been amazing. James Laurinaitis, our buddy, the linebacker coach. But I am really happy for Larry Johnson. Here's a guy that was taking heat, from some of the outside sources.
Yeah.
And Ryan Day, in my opinion, said it best at that championship celebration in Ohio Stadium, that Larry's the best defensive line coach in the country. And you know what? He looks like it right now. Those guys are, and Bob, that was supposed to be a big question mark, the guys up front.
We lost 4 guys at the NFL. They're all playing on Sundays and playing pretty well, I might add. So the question became for Larry Johnson, how fast can you replenish those ranks? And the question was there enough depth on the inside? How would they look? Well, Cade McDonald's been really, really good. He has been one of the best defensive linemen on the inside in all of college football. You saw what Caden Curry did last week. A lot of Defensive Player of the Week stuff. Cade McDonald won some other things. Kenyatta Jackson starting to play now on the outside. They moved C.J. Hicks down there. He's looked really good. The emergence of Bo Atkinson, the transfer they brought in from North Carolina. They've really blended this pretty nicely, and so they're going to continue to grow it. They get in some different fronts. They move some guys around, and it's a function of Matt Patricia working with Larry Johnson, trying to figure out what do we have and how can we use it and put these guys in the best position to succeed.
All right, next up, row the boat. P.J. Fleck coming in here with the Minnesota Gophers. Here's a guy that is very familiar with Columbus, Ohio. He was around here with Tress, and he's coming in as the head coach. He's a heck of a motivator. But Ohio State's, 24-point favorites in this, 23.5-point favorites. What do you worry about in this matchup game? And they're all matchups from this point. In the Big Ten, they're all matchup games. What do you worry about if you're Ryan Day? Night game, hopefully there's plenty of energy and everything. But, Woody Hayes used to say you can only get up for so many games.
Well, Ohio State's, I think, 37-3 against Minnesota in the last 40. That may be the all-time record. They haven't won since Glenn Mason came in here in 2000, back when I was on a recruiting visit, watching that happen with Ron Johnson running all around the outside of the field, giving some of the guys nightmares of this. They're a unique team. Their quarterback, Drake Lindsey, young player, redshirt freshman, they don't put too much on him. They'll throw the ball a lot, but not a whole lot really down the field. They like the play-action game. They like the quick game. And as you watch P.J. Fleck and what they like to do, sound defense, not too many chances. They're going to get you on the ground, but it reminds you a lot of Jim Tressel. And they have the special teams wrinkles they'll throw in there. They'll have some wrinkles on offense, but this isn't going to be a game where you're trying to race to 50 points. P.J. Fleck wants to try to play ball control, which is really what Ryan Day has done. So back and forth between these guys, if I'm Ryan Day, be sound on special teams. Make sure you have all the trick stuff down on defense so they're not able to fool you. And then offensively, just don't turn the football over. This run game has been really good. Bo Jackson's been doing a great job. Austin Serval's been great up front. Luke Montgomery, they've been so good. Carson Hinsman, Tegra Chabot, all of them, Philip Daniels, like these guys have moved guys off the line of scrimmage. So just don't turn it over and let your young quarterback continue to do what he's done.
Yeah, Tress is this guy's mentor, and you do see a lot.
Maybe outside of that press conference where he was unbuttoned about down to here. Normally the guy, he's got the tie on, the sweater vest. Yeah. He's very Jim Tressel-esque most of the time.
He looked like Paul Anka in that. As a matter of fact, I attempted to do it with him. Last thing, you look at where Ohio State is, and it's going to be another night game in the shoe, and the energy and everything. And I want to go back to what I asked you. Woody said you could only get up for so many games, and you're Ohio State. You're going to get everyone's best shot because everybody wants to beat Ohio State, especially now because they're the defending national champions. What is keeping Ryan Day up late at night? Because, injuries obviously are the great equalizer. We know that. But is it true as a player? You can, every game. But you literally, with the target you have, you got to get up for every game because, there's not that much separation between a Minnesota and Ohio State. They give scholarships out too.
It's very true, but one of the things that Ryan Day, they read this book, Chop Wood, Carry Water, this offseason, Dom, and it talked about surrendering to the process. And a lot of the guys that are playing now, especially on the defensive side, they've waited a long time to get here. They've waited to be the starter. And so you only get so many opportunities to run out of that tunnel at Ohio Stadium. It's a very, very special experience. I remember my freshman year when I got here, it seemed like there was going to be 100 of them. And all of a sudden I'm standing there on senior day thinking, where did it all go? And so I think that there is an appreciation for that. Anytime you get to play in the shoe, it's very special. Anytime you get to play a night game in the shoe, it's even more special. And you start looking at this. You've got UCLA, you've got a handful, Penn State's going to be here, but there's not a whole lot of games after this where you're going to be able to come in and run out of the friendly confines of the horseshoe.
So the fans better show up this week, though.
I think they will. If the weather's going to be great, it'll be a good time.
He's the one and only Bobby Carpenter. Morning Juice, and we can watch you where again?
Morning Juice, you can see it on YouTube. We've got it on 10 TV Plus shortly after, I believe, at 10 o'clock, and then also you can hear it again on 1460 at 1 in the afternoon.
Just remember, folks, we love covering the Buckeyes. This was a great Buckeye player. We cover the Buckeyes like no one else can, so keep it on 10 TV, 10 TV Plus, 97.1 The Fan for all your Buckeye coverage needs.